All right. Tonight's episode is Why Don't Doctors Take Us Seriously? All right. Raise your hand if you've ever been told it's just stress while you are literally falling apart inside. Let's talk about the gaslighting and what we need to do about it. Welcome, my friends, to the Unmute Your Midlife podcast, where we take you from foggy and forgotten to focused and lit up. I'm Joyce, your nurse turned midlife resurrection strategist and the cheerleader in your pocket, and I'm here to remind you that your next season in life is your power era. So let's set the stage because this one is personal and systemic. Probably 2 to 3 years ago, I was at my doctor's office for my annual primary care visit. My fasting blood sugar was over 100. My A1C was barely acceptable. I had gained 40 pounds. Everything hurt. That was probably my biggest complaint, was that I couldn't sleep because I would sweat through the night and I would wake up to pee all the time and I would toss and turn because my hips hurt so bad. And then when I did wake up in the morning, it was so hard to get out of bed because everything hurt. My feet hurt. Like halfway through the day, well, sometimes it didn't even make it to halfway through the day. But at some point during the day, my second toe in each foot would start to hurt. And then my toes would get like these cramps, which I now know it was from low magnesium. But like my feet would like get these weird cramps and kind of like get stuck in strange positions, like a half flexed position, or, two of the toes are pointed out sideways. And I mean, what do you do? It's like when your foot falls asleep and you got to get up and jump up and down on it. And I would try that and I'd be walking up and down the hallways trying to get my feet to straighten out and tons of pain. Anyway, so I asked my doctor, well, what can I do? Like, I'm not asking for pain medicine. I'm saying, what do I do? And she said, nothing. This is just part of aging. Are you taking a leave twice a day? Okay, that is not an answer. You can't take a leave twice a day, every day for your whole life. I'm pretty sure that would tear up your stomach. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I'm not a doctor, but I'm a nurse. But her answer to anything I would ask about is, no, I'm not going to run more labs. No, we don't need to check you for rheumatoid arthritis because your titers were negative 3 years ago. No, our insurance doesn't cover GLP-1s, so I can't prescribe them because how are you going to pay for them? And I'm not the only person who's experienced this. My best friend, who's very healthy, I mean, she runs marathons, she runs ultra marathons, she lifts weights, she coaches fitness stuff. She coaches runners and she coaches college athletes, and she's very mindful of what she eats. She started having these horrible anxiety attacks where she sometimes didn't even want to leave the house or talk to people. And they wanted to put her on antidepressant because in their mind, since she was still having sporadic periods, well, it's not menopause. Hello, there's this period of time before you hit actual menopause called perimenopause. And that is sometimes worse than menopause. There's a systemic problem where healthcare providers don't understand how to treat women who are in menopause. And to be fair, it's not entirely their fault. The training that they go through in med school lacks some serious menopause curriculum. A Yale University review of insurance claims from more than 500,000 women in various stages of menopause showed them that while 60% of women with significant menopausal symptoms sought out medical attention, nearly 3/4 of them were sent away without treatment because their providers didn't know how to treat them. While they're in med school, they get maybe one class, one lecture each year. And then when they are released on the world to practice medicine, they feel ill-equipped to take care of the issues that a menopausal woman is having. There's actually no subspecialty in obstetric care that fully focuses on perimenopause and menopause. The residents that go through those programs receive whatever their institution deems appropriate for menopause education. Now, I will say that is changing, but we're still experiencing providers who want to default to antidepressants or birth control. That's what my OBGYN gave me. She gave me a progesterone-only birth control to take for about 5 years to help with my symptoms, to try and help with the night sweats and the hot flashes. And they only get to spend like 20 minutes with you at your appointment. That's not enough time to educate you. So it's up to us to seek out the education on our own. And that's fair. But we can start expecting them to get the continuing education they need to make a proper diagnosis or to offer effective treatments that actually work and make a difference. Because let's be honest, antidepressants, while sometimes people do need them, they are not a substitute for estrogen. And birth control also does not equate to hormone replacement therapy. Birth control is meant to prevent conception. So as you may have already experienced, there is an emotional toll that accompanies being unheard. For me, it made me feel invalidated. But as a healthcare worker myself, it made me feel ashamed for wasting their time because they send you away telling you nothing's wrong with you or there's nothing I can do for you. And so you feel bad that you even scheduled the appointment and bothered to unload on them. Other people, you might feel defective because you're not magically adapting to the changes of life. Or you could start to feel some doubt about your own personal strength or sanity. Because after all, they said nothing was wrong with you. Some other things that we tend to hear when we hit this phase of life is, this is just normal aging. You're probably having a lot of stress. Maybe you just need to lose weight. Have you tried journaling? And then, of course, when we complain about like libido or some of the dryness in our nether regions, we hear, well, maybe you just need some gel and some new lingerie. Right. Fortunately for all of us, there seems to be a renaissance of sorts happening in the arena of menopause treatment. And I, for one, am here for it. Whether it's through innovative research or tech breakthroughs, there are some highly visible advocates stepping into the void to cast some light on the areas where menopause impacts a woman's body, which includes her brain, her heart, her bones, and her vajayjay. It's not just, as I've said before, about sex hormones. Estrogen is such a protective hormone. It protects our heart. It protects our brain. It helps us to prevent Alzheimer's or dementia later in life. When we lose that estrogen, that's when the brain fog starts setting in. That's when we start moving towards dementia. There are way more women with dementia than men after a certain age. So some of these voices are Dr. Sharon Malone, Dr. Mary Claire Haver, Dr. Vonda Wright, the newscaster Tamsin Fidel, Dr. Kelly Casperson, who was just before Congress or some special hearing, some special session, trying to help plead our case for testosterone because there is no accepted dosage of testosterone for women. And we don't need a lot. We need a minuscule. But if it's not an approved use by the FDA, then chances are your insurance won't pay for it. Chances are the average healthcare provider is not going to prescribe it. And then you're going to have to go find someone who specializes in menopause treatment. There's another lady, a social worker named Donna Clausen, who had a horrible perimenopause experience. And so she started a nonprofit and a podcast and a website, and it's called letstalkmenopause.org. There is the Menopause Society. It's also a nonprofit, and they have a website called menopausesociety.org. That's a good place to go to look for providers who are educated in menopause care. But I'm jumping ahead of myself. So today I want to talk about how to self-advocate when you're in that exam room with your doctor. First of all, you want to come prepared. I recommend you bring a list of questions. Don't make your appointment for tomorrow if you're wanting to go see them. Give yourself some leeway time. Make your appointment for a week or two out if you can. And honestly, if you're going to go see a provider, chances are you might be like on a 3-month wait list. I know for my own provider, who I've been seeing for years, my GYN, I'm supposed to see her once a year, but she's already booking 15 months out. Like at my last checkup, they said, I know you're supposed to come back in a year, but her earliest appointment is in 15 months. I'm like, okay, sure. So come prepared, bring a list of questions. And when you go to the appointment, write down the answers that you get. Be ready to share what you've tried, whether it's supplements, whether it's, the snake oil from TikTok website that you found, whether it's a medication that another provider prescribed, whether it's all homeopathic stuff or naturopathic, if it's just mindset, if it's just changing your diet or changing your exercise plan, whatever it is that you've done to try and help yourself to cope with your changes in your symptoms, write that down because you need to share that with them so that they know what you've already tried and how effective was it. They'll want to know that too. You're going to want to know what bothers you most because they're probably not going to be able to fix everything on your list. So pick your top 1, 2, maybe 3 things that you're like, if I could just get relief for these things, I think I could keep my sanity. And if you've been doing some research and you know of some treatments that you want to try, write those down too on your little paper that you're going to take in, because chances are you're going to get white coat syndrome. A couple things happen when you get white coat syndrome. I mean, think about it. You're probably sitting there in a gown, may or may not be cold in the room. So you get distracted and then you can't think straight. Or, hello, you're in perimenopause, you get brain fog, so you can't always remember all the things you want to talk about. This is why I say write it down, take the paper with you. Another thing that could be really helpful for you is tracking your symptoms. When you can go in and show them on paper, I've been tracking my symptoms for 2 weeks, or 2 months, or 2 years, whatever it is. It makes you sound more, let's say, clinical. It helps them to see that you're not just pulling stuff out of thin air. There are plenty of symptom trackers out there. I actually have some free ones at my website that you can download. Or if you want me to just send them to you, you can send me a message and I'll email them. And let me just encourage you right now. It is okay to fire your doctor. If they don't have the knowledge they need to treat you for this phase of life, even if they've been the best doctor up until now, it's okay to happily part company. You don't have to hate on them. Cancel any upcoming appointments and then go find your new doctor. You don't even have to tell them that you're firing them if you don't want to. You can be completely passive about it. You don't have to be aggressive. You don't have to be overtly verbal about it. You don't have to send them a letter saying, I'm not coming anymore. You just quit going. And then when you go to your new doctor, they'll send for your records for you. There are supportive options out there. There are midlife or functional health providers. There's peer support. There's nurse-based education, like what I offer. There's online websites. There's telehealth. Like I said, you can go to that menopauseSociety.org. You can put in your zip code. I've used it to help my friend find a provider for herself. And then she liked that provider so much that she's like, I need to find one for my mom. So we put in her mom's zip code and we found one for her mom. The main thing I want to encourage you to ask yourself is, what symptom have I downplayed that deserves attention? And make sure you write that down. Bring it up at your next appointment. One of the things I offer my clients is private coaching. I have a 6-week program where you get private coaching. You get supplements, you get meal plans, weekly one-on-one coaching sessions, and a guided plan to help get you back to your best self. It's a very transformative program. Personally, I think it's an amazing program. It's basically everything that I did to help get myself back to feeling like a new woman. Now, if you aren't ready for a full transformation, or you're kind of like a dip your toe in the water kind of person, there is a do-it-yourself version where I have online course that you can enroll in and you watch the videos at your own pace. You still get access to most of the same information, but I don't print it for you. You have to print it yourself. And if you decide that you get halfway through that and you're like, no, I want the one-on-one coaching, anything you've invested up to that point, you get it discounted off of the private coaching. If you're not ready for either one of those, there's plenty of free resources on my website. And there's these podcasts, and there's my blog that has articles once a week, because my goal is to help women feel their best. My goal is to help every perimenopausal or menopausal woman feel seen and heard. I found a plan that worked well, and I am sticking to it. And I am not just here to cope, I'm here to create. I'm not just going to coast through this back half of life. I'm going to thrive through it. And I just think that every woman should be able to say the same thing. There's so much opportunity. There's so much joy. I think it's funny that I never liked my name growing up. I thought it was a name for an older woman. probably because I was named after my great-grandmother. But now I'm excited about it because I'm like, if it suits me perfect. I'm in a very joyful phase of life, and my name's Joyce. And so like, we're just going to rejoice. Okay. And that might sound silly and corny, but I think the whole world could use a little more joy these days, a little more love and understanding from each other. And when your hormones are going crazy, sometimes that's a little bit hard to do. But trust me, there is a way, and we can find it together. And yes, I was born in the 70s, but no, I am not a hippie. I'm just proof that healing yourself and building a business can happen at the same time, that you're never too old to learn new tricks. All right, my friend, that is today's dose of midlife truth. Remember, you are not foggy, forgotten, or finished. You are just getting lit up for your next season. And if today's episode hit home, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with a sister who needs some unmuting in her own midlife. If you want to go deeper and move from just listening to actually living out your own transformation, send me a message. But until next time, keep unmuting, keep rising, and remember, your midlife resurrection starts right now.